Hey, what's up? Are you trying to decide whether this is the right time to sell your home during the coronavirus pandemic? I've recently sold 2 homes during the pandemic, and the first home was sold for $100,000 below the market price, and the second sale was $40,000 above the market price. So why is there the $140,000 difference in pricing? That's because of the timing of the market and also the strategy that I used. I'm going to show you the tips on getting more money for your home, so keep watching to learn more. First of all, let's talk about the timing of the market. If you are familiar with the Bay Area, the first home I sold was in Almaden Valley in San Jose. I'm going to call it the Almaden Valley home. I put it on the market at the end of March. That's when shelter-in-place started in California and the stock market plummeted. From this chart, you can see that around mid-March, the local real estate market had a huge shock from both the stock market decline and also the shelter-in-place order. Towards the end of March and the beginning of April, the gap between the new listings coming on market and the listings accepting offers became bigger and bigger, which means the supply was a lot more than the demand. As we move along in April, new listings have gone down a little bit and then slowly back up slightly. Overall, the inventory is still very low compared to the beginning of the year before the coronavirus happened. Inventory is really low. Most likely it's because the kids are home and a lot of people are working from home and there are many other distractions. Some sellers are not even thinking about selling their homes now, and it's much harder for them to get their homes ready for sale. Buyers' demand, on the other hand, if you look at the listings accepting offers line, it's been increasing steadily all the way through April. The gap between new listings and listings accepting offers has becoming smaller and smaller. It means that buyers' demand is still there. A lot of people are realizing that coronavirus is not going away anytime soon, and shelter in place may be even longer than they originally thought. If they're in the market for a new home, it makes sense for them to be actively looking. We're also seeing median sale prices increasing year over year compared to the prices from March and April in 2019. And month over month, we've only seen a $10,000 decrease in median sale prices from March to April. When we look at the sale to list price ratio, on average, homes are still selling at 3% above asking price, which is better than the market performance compared to all of last year. As the stock market declines, we're seeing more money being moved from the stock market into safer investments like real estate. We're seeing more and more all-cash buyers. My Almaden Valley home was sold to an all-cash buyer who has over $3 million in her bank account. We're seeing interest rate at a historic low, which means buyers can afford more expensive houses, which is great news for the real estate market as well. When we look at the big picture, historic trends, we can see that home prices are still at historic high. The data I'm showing you here is from my local real estate market, but you can ask your real estate agent to provide you numbers for your local area. As I've mentioned, my Almaden Valley home was sold at the end of March. That's when the shock in the stock market just happened. My Campbell house, on the other hand, was put on the market at the end of April. That's after the market has rebounded and buyers are already getting used to the new norm of shelter in place. So this really helped the sale of my Campbell house. Other than timing, I'm also going to share with you the strategy that I used on the Campbell house to help me get $40,000 above the market price. The gist of this strategy is to button up, present your house in the best light possible. To sell your house for top dollar, check out this video where I share with you the 9 things that you should do to get more money for your house. The tips I'm going to show you here are going to be specific for selling a home during this coronavirus pandemic. Tip number 1, vacate the home. In normal times, it's better and easier to sell a home that's vacant. But during this coronavirus pandemic, it's even more important and beneficial to move out of a house before selling it. Owner-occupied homes were not allowed to be showed for a while during shelter-in-place. The restrictions have been loosened, but even now, in-person visits are not allowed if the occupant is still residing in the residence unless gloves, shoe coverings, and facial coverings are worn during the visit. Open houses are not allowed, so private showings are the only opportunities for buyers to see a home in person. Our Campbell home had over 50 private showings in 1 week. That's 7 to 8 showings a day. Imagine how inconvenient that would be for both you and the buyers to have to arrange private showings all this time. Some buyers are also not comfortable viewing homes that are owner-occupied during this pandemic. If they choose not to see your home, that means you have a smaller buyer pool, and less competition usually means fewer offers and a lower sale price. Tip number 2, do the necessary repairs. The Almaden Valley home, I purchased it off-market as a fixer-upper. We got in contract right before the coronavirus situation got more intense and the stock market crashed. So I decided to put it back on the market for sale without doing any work to reduce my exposure to market risks. So I put the home on the market in its original condition. As you can see from the pictures, I could have done some easy repairs to make the home more appealing. I could have repainted the interior and exterior with a more neutral color to make the house look more updated. I could also have removed the popcorn ceiling that nobody likes. My Campbell house, on the other hand, we repainted it inside and out, and it became one of the best looking houses on the block or even the entire neighborhood. Tip number 3, staging can make a huge difference. Back when we sold the Almaden Valley home, staging was not allowed in the Bay Area. The home was showed bare. Buyers could easily notice the odd paint color, the dirty carpet, and the dated fixtures. The Campbell home was fully staged. The stager's designer touches accentuated the best features of the home, which were the remodeled kitchen and bathrooms. The smaller bedrooms also looked bigger and more functional with the staging furniture. Tip number 4, professional photography and 3D virtual tour. This is one of my biggest regrets in selling the Almaden Valley home. I don't think I'm a terrible photographer, but I'm not professional. An iPhone camera has its limitations. My iPhone photos of the Almaden Valley home look so dim, and they are not from the most flattering angles. The professional photos of my Campbell house came out so beautiful, and the 3D virtual tour looked amazing too. It's super fun and helpful for a buyer to be able to explore a home of their interest without having to leave their own place. Professional photography and 3D virtual tour can boost the sale price of your home, but they are also affordable. In the Bay Area, I recommend F8 Real Estate Media, which is linked below. They charge about $100 for professional photography, and if you add the 3D virtual tour, it will be around $400 total. Tip number 5, get home inspections beforehand. I recommend getting home inspections before putting a house on the market for sale in normal times, but this is even more crucial during the pandemic. With all the restrictions from the shelter-at-home order, some buyers are trying to negotiate a longer property inspection contingency so that they can delay the purchase or even back out of a contract without any consequences. This is very unfair and risky to the sellers. As a seller, I highly recommend you to get home inspections and fix all the important items on the report before you even put a house on the market for sale. This will leave no excuse for the buyers to even have a property inspection contingency in their offer. We got a property inspection and a termite inspection on the Campbell house. We received 5 offers total, and 3 of them didn't have any property inspection contingency. The last and final tip: price your home slightly lower than the market value. If you're wondering how you can determine the value of your house, check out this video where I walk you through the comparable sales approach to determine the value of a house. In the normal market, I recommend pricing a home where the market value is. But during the pandemic, with the stock market crash, the uncertainty of the economy, and the shelter-at-home order, it's not a bad idea to price your home 3 to 5% lower than the market value to attract more buyers. With the lower list price, if you can get more buyers to be interested in your home and submit an offer, you can possibly start a bidding war and get even a higher price than the market value. That's the strategy we used on the Campbell house. We listed it 3% below the market value, so we attracted a ton of traffic, over 50 showings in just 1 week. We had 21 disclosure downloads and received 5 offers total. This is even higher activity level than compared to before the coronavirus. With the 5 offers we received, we were able to negotiate the price to be much higher, and we ended up selling the house for almost $100,000 above the asking price. That's also about $40,000 more than the market value before the coronavirus. The Almaden Valley home, we priced it at the market value. But because we didn't do all the prep work, as I just mentioned, we got only 1 offer in the end, and we had to sell it for almost $100,000 below the market value. If you follow all the tips I've mentioned, this is really not a bad time to sell your home, even during this coronavirus pandemic, and you can still get a pretty good price. Again, the key is to button up on your home selling preparation and make your home stand out from the competition so that your buyers will fall in love, be willing to pay more on the home. To the investors and home buyers, right now might be a good time to pick up fixer-uppers because those homes are not getting as much attention as the fully remodeled homes. And remember, homes in good location with good schools usually hold their value better than homes in other locations. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.